You know the NBA season is almost back when I got my sword and my shield ready to defend Domantas Sabonis to the death. On today's Locked On Kings podcast, we're looking at where Sabonis falls in the top NBA centers rankings, and we're also diving into the hate for Sabonis that makes absolutely no sense, and yet it's way more common around the league than it should be. You are listening to Locked On Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all offseason long. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I'm a Sacramento sports anchor and reporter for ABC 10 News. And the topic of the day is the boy Domantas Sabonis, the man Domantas Sabonis, the Ox, as he's known as here in Sacramento. If you are new to the Locked On Kings podcast, first off, welcome. I'm glad you tuned in, and I hope you will stay all season long for the best Kings coverage you'll find at any podcast format. But you may not know how big of a champion I am for Domantas Sabonis. I love the dude. I love the player, and there are very few times where there's something involving Domantas Sabonis that I am not defending him. It's because the rest of the league makes it necessary for someone like myself to defend him with all of the nonsense that they throw his way. We'll dive into that more in the second segment. The first segment, though, here, we're going to continue our series as we're looking at Hoops Hype's top 30 players by position. We've done De'Aaron Fox, who was the 9th best point guard, and then we've done DeMar DeRozan, who was the 8th best small forward. If you missed those, you can go and check those out. But we're talking about Domantas Sabonis today, and before I looked at this ranking, I honestly expected to be pissed off. I'm not as pissed off as I thought I would be seeing this ranking. Now, I think Sabonis should absolutely be ranked higher than where he is, which if you're watching on YouTube, you can see on the side of the screen. Sabonis is ranked 5th. So he should be higher. I'm not the biggest fan of the reasoning for some of the players ahead of him, but we'll dive into that and talk about that. Where I am pissed off, of course, is by the continued hate and just nonsense that I see with people talking about Domantas Sabonis around the league. We'll get into that again a little bit, but let's talk about these NBA rankings or center rankings. Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid are number 1 and number 2. No, I didn't expect anything different. Absolutely zero issue with those two there. Zero issue whatsoever. So I certainly wasn't expecting Sabonis to be in the top 2, regardless of leading the league in rebounding for back-to-back years and leading the league in triple-doubles, right? It's even I, as much of a champion of Sabonis as I am, I understand that there's a difference between what Sabonis does and what Jokic and Embiid do. Now, I also agree that if Nikola Jokic didn't exist, we would talk about and look at Domantas Sabonis a lot differently. Or I shouldn't say we, the NBA audience would look at Sabonis a lot differently because Domantas Sabonis or Nikola Jokic is truly the only guy that can do what Domantas Sabonis does. The difference is Nikola Jokic is just an overall way better scorer and shooter than Domantas Sabonis is. So Jokic and Embiid ranked 1 and 2, no issue with that. Anthony Davis is ranked number 3. Now, part of me naturally wants to roll my eyes at this because we know Domantas Sabonis owns Anthony Davis, never lost to Anthony Davis in his career. When the Kings or when Sabonis has played a team that Anthony Davis is on, when both of them have played, Sabonis has never lost. That's a big deal to us here in Sacramento, of course. It's less of a deal to the national perspective. It's a fun storyline that people are going to continue to follow, and it's going to pick up more steam, but it's really not that big of a deal for why Sabonis should be ranked higher than Anthony Davis. In terms of overall scoring and ability to take over a game, yes, Anthony Davis is above Domantas Sabonis. I don't have a problem admitting that. Anthony Davis is a first ballot Hall of Famer in my mind. Now, I think Domantas Sabonis has the capability to absolutely be a Hall of Famer too. But there's no doubt in anybody's mind, right? Anthony Davis is 100% a Hall of Famer because of the career that he's had, and he's still a very dangerous and volatile weapon for the Los Angeles Lakers, assuming he can stay healthy and stay on the floor. That's not a problem that we have to worry about with Domantas Sabonis. He plays every game and plays through injury. Knock on wood that he doesn't have to deal with anything serious this season. Sabonis is better, though, for his team than Anthony Davis is. The Lakers are completely reliant on LeBron and AD to carry that team as far as they can go. It's not really much of a team as much as it is get on the backs of these stars before their time is up in the NBA, these sunsetting stars, if you will. Austin Reeves is the third piece of a big three, and I had a conversation earlier this offseason with Andy Kamenetsky from the Locked On Lakers podcast. We were doing our Pacific Division previews, and he was even telling us on that podcast, yeah, Austin Reeves is not ready to be looked at as a third star. So it's LeBron and AD. That is the Lake show. They're going to take the Lakers as far as they're going to go. Sabonis is better for his team, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He makes everybody around him better. The Kings are completely reliant and run everything through him offensively. Sabonis is the guy that I would much rather have on my team. If it's a game of one-on-one, maybe it's different. Although, hell, Sabonis has never lost to AD, so maybe he'll dominate the one-on-one matchup too. But Sabonis impacts winning more than Anthony Davis does at this point in his career. He does. So I'm taking Sabonis there. I think it should be a coin flip. I'm not saying, oh, there's no realm where Anthony Davis is a better basketball player or ranked higher than Domantas Sabonis is. I think it should be a coin flip. I think it should be looked at a lot closer than it is. And there being a gap between 3 and 5 suggests that Hoops Hype, like many others, view AD is significantly better than Domas, which just isn't the case. Victor Wembanyama is ranked one spot higher than Domantas Sabonis at number 4. Now, I personally believe that Wemby will be the best center in the league very, very soon. Like in a few years, he will be the best center in the league. And honestly, this year, he should be the favorite. In fact, we should check FanDuel. He probably is the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, right? That's the expectation. So I know how good Victor Wembanyama is. I know how much of a freak, an alien, right? That's his nickname. He's an alien, a freak of nature. Victor Wembanyama is going to dominate the NBA very, very soon. But putting him third over Domantas Sabonis is a complete and total hype move. If it's a prediction, that's fine. But if it's a ranking based off of the player that they are right now, based off of the last recent basketball that we've seen, Domantas Sabonis is a higher ranked player than Victor Wembanyama is. Considering Sabonis had back-to-back seasons, leading the league in rebounds, leading the league in double-doubles. Last season, he led the NBA in triple-doubles, and the season before, he finished second to Nikola Jokic, right? And the winning team argument doesn't work here, right? Oh, well, Domantas Sabonis was on a team that missed the playoffs last season. Yeah, so was Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs were ass. I expect the Spurs to be better this year. I expect the Spurs to be a team that's competing for a play-in spot. And Victor Wembanyama will certainly be at the center of that. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful for the Spurs and suggest that they're going to be down there with the Detroit Pistons and Charlotte Hornets and Portland Trailblazers of the world. I think they're going to be a good team. The Sacramento Kings are a far better team than the Spurs are. And Domantas Sabonis far impacts winning more than Victor Wembanyama does. And Domantas Sabonis' numbers are better than Victor Wembanyama's. So what are we doing here? How is Wemby ranked higher than Domantas Sabonis? It's a complete and total hype move. Now, I was surprised to see this. Sabonis is ranked ahead of Bam Adebayo by one spot. Sabonis at 5, Bam at 6. Now, they got this right. Completely right. No doubt in my mind, Bam Adebayo is a better defender. No doubt about it. 100%. And I think Bam has been robbed a little bit in Defensive Player of the Year conversations in the past. But there is no way, let me say this clearly, because I know there's some of you in my comment section that think otherwise. There are members of the Sacramento media that think otherwise. There is no way I'd rather have Bam Adebayo on the Kings than Domantas Sabonis. No way. Do I think the Kings would be a worse team with Bam? I don't know. I know they'd be a completely, fundamentally different team. I trust Sabonis more as a scorer than I trust Bam Adebayo. I trust Sabonis more as a rebounder, as a passer, as a playmaker. The only area I trust more from Bam Adebayo is defense. Now, there are some people that believe that you add one of the top defensive centers to the Sacramento Kings, replace Sabonis, and have De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan and all the other offensive pieces on this roster. It could work. Maybe. But the version of the Sacramento Kings that we know over the last 2 seasons is not what you would see with Bam Adebayo here. And I'm of the belief that this version is the best version that it's the best way to build the Kings into any kind of legitimate contender. So no way am I picking Sabonis or Bam Adebayo over Sabonis. And to round out, by the way, the rest of the rankings, Rudy Gobert is ranked 7th. Absolutely, Sabonis is better than him. Alperen Şengün is 8th. Chet Holmgren is 9th. Kristaps Porzingis is 10th. So what do you think about where Domantas Sabonis is ranked here on the Hoops Hype Center rankings? 5th. It's not the worst. It should be higher, especially, he should be minimum 4th behind. I will accept Jokic, Embiid, and Anthony Davis over Domantas Sabonis. I reluctantly accept AD, but I get it. Victor Wembanyama? No, absolutely not. Not right now. In a year or two, probably. Right now, absolutely not. Like I said at the top of the show, today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. You've heard me talk a lot about FanDuel over the years here on the Locked On Kings podcast. They're America's #1 sports book, but now we have a little something different for you, an incredible offer from FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers, whether you're brand new and signing up for the first time or you're a FanDuel veteran, all you have to do is bet $5. Bet $5 and you'll get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And you're not just paying for a free trial with $5. You put $5 down on anything, you win, you've made money, and you get this 3-week free trial. And all you need is a YouTube TV base plan. You'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. And if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's double your winnings for all these Sunday's games, the 15th, pregame moneyline bets. Profit Boost will start, or it's already up. It went live yesterday before the Thursday night game. View your account page to learn more about your boost. Visit FanDuel.com and download America's #1 sportsbook. All right, now it's time for me to really put my Captain Save a Sabonis cape on here. Not that he needs saving, because I don't think Domas really cares. But I do. The hate and the negativity surrounding how the general NBA audience views Domantas Sabonis needs to stop. It makes absolutely zero sense. This time of year last year, I was breaking down an article written by Bleacher Report of how Domantas Sabonis was ranked the most overrated player in the league. Now you have this new Starting 5 Netflix documentary coming out following Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, and Domantas Sabonis. And you see the posters and you see the comments, and it's, what is Domantas Sabonis doing there? One of these 5 guys doesn't belong, as if Sabonis isn't one of the best centers in the NBA and statistically one of the best players we've seen in the league since a guy named Wilt Chamberlain. Domantas Sabonis is an absolute star, and he's not viewed at it. And it started with the Halliburton trade. He's had this league-wide overrated label since the Sacramento Kings decided to trade Tyrese Halliburton for him, as if that was his fault that the Kings made the move. And by the way, I guarantee you, the Kings have 10 opportunities to take that trade back. They still make the trade 10 out of 10 times, no matter what Tyrese Halliburton is doing in Indiana. They love Domantas Sabonis. They know Domantas Sabonis, that trade needed to happen. And by the way, all you NBA 2K players out there that say, why don't you just trade De'Aaron Fox? Like you can enter him into a trade machine and get all these magical offers. That's not legitimate. That's not on the table. That's not realistic. The Kings do not regret trading Tyrese Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis, not even a little bit, because there was no better trade out there, no better opportunity out there for them to improve this team. And ultimately, that trade got the Sacramento Kings from the longest NBA playoff drought in history to back-to-back winning seasons, including a playoff appearance against the defending champions at the time. The Kings 100% do not regret that move. But for some reason, people use that trade to hate Domantas Sabonis. Like it's his fault that he got traded. Like it's his fault that he came to Sacramento and turned this franchise around, or was part of the reason why this franchise turned around. A massive part of it. His reputation as a dirty basketball player is the stupidest thing I have heard. And it comes from a bunch of soft, weak-minded loser fans. And I have no problem saying that. If you think Domantas Sabonis is a dirty player, you're a dork. You're a moron because you don't actually watch him play. Domantas Sabonis is a physical basketball player. And half of y'all are the ones saying, man, the NBA was so much better in the 90s when you could actually hit somebody and be physical. But as soon as the dude is being physical against your guy, oh, he's dirty. Oh, he's throwing elbows. He's using the ball as a weapon. The Domantas Sabonis label of being a dirty player is stupid. Last I checked, Luka Doncic was the guy falling on Malik Monk and hurting him. Last I checked, Domantas Sabonis was the guy on the ground getting stomped, not doing the stomping. Last I checked, Domantas Sabonis has never thrown an elbow into somebody's face or thrown a straight-up punch. Domantas Sabonis is not a dirty basketball player. He's a physical basketball player because he has to be. He's an undersized center. He's not gifted with 7-foot height like Chet Holmgren. He's a beast. He's an ox. He's physical, and he dominates the game in a way that is obscure in the modern NBA. Nikola Jokic is bigger than Domantas Sabonis and plays softer than Sabonis does. Now, I don't use that as a negative thing, or I don't use that as an insult, because we know Jokic has that ridiculous catapult-like jumper that he can hit from anywhere on the floor. It works for him. But Domantas Sabonis' game is getting dirty in the paint, fighting for the rebound, fighting for the ball, going up, trying to dunk it, trying to lay it up, trying to get to the foul line. Yes, the Kings would like him to shoot the ball more from the perimeter and from the mid-range. Absolutely, they would. But Domantas Sabonis is a physical player because that's how he was made to be. And it works for him. That does not make him dirty because he's outpowering your precious Anthony Davises or your precious Chet Holmgrens, because he's bigger and stronger than them, and he's not afraid of them either. It doesn't make him a dirty basketball player. So stop saying that nonsense. And also, why do people try so hard to discredit Sabonis' numbers and his success? Why? What has the man done? Did he steal your ex-girlfriend or something? Like, what did Domantas Sabonis do to where people watch this guy and look at the amazing numbers and the amazing things that he does on the basketball floor on a nightly basis and go, this guy sucks. I can't like this. The mob mentality. Everybody else says he sucks, so I'm going to say he sucks too, even though my eyes are telling me he's one of the best bigs in the league and the numbers are telling me he's phenomenal, historically good. It's a privilege to watch Domantas Sabonis play. Look, I hate when the Kings play the Denver Nuggets and the Kings got to deal with Nikola Jokic. I hate when the Kings play the Milwaukee Bucks and I got to watch Giannis Antetokounmpo dominate Sacramento because there's nobody the Kings can put on him to stop him. I hate watching Steph Curry come into Sacramento in Game 7 and drop 50 points to end the Kings' playoff run. But I can still sit there as a basketball fan and appreciate the greatness in front of me. So appreciate the greatness of what Domantas Sabonis freaking does. Don't try so damn hard to be negative and pessimistic and whiny and not enjoy the way the man plays. You don't have to love the guy as much as I do. Absolutely not. You do not have to like the guy as much as I do. No. But appreciate what he does. Respect what he does. Because anybody who doesn't think that Domantas Sabonis is a good basketball player, and you say that online or say that to your friends or have the gall to say that in front of me, I have no problem looking you in the eye and telling you you have little to no basketball IQ. Because Domantas Sabonis is an incredible NBA player. An incredible player. If you have doubts or concerns about being able to win a championship with him, that's fine. He hasn't won one yet. You could also say the same thing about damn near the entire league. You could say the same thing about Joel Embiid. Last I checked, the man hasn't won a title. Can he stay healthy enough to even go on a championship run? I can skew it however way I want to. You do not have to believe that Domantas Sabonis is a championship caliber center. You do not have to believe Domantas Sabonis can be the number one guy on a championship team. You know what? I don't think Domantas Sabonis wants to be or cares to be. He just wants to win one. And he's going to do everything in his power to help his team win and to maximize the players around him. Every player in this league loves playing around Sabonis. So if every player is enjoying him as a teammate, maybe that should cue you in that you should enjoy Domantas Sabonis as a basketball player and enjoy being able to follow him and his career. The hate, the nonsense, it's stupid. And I hope this Starting Five documentary that's coming out will change some people's minds and get them to appreciate not just how great of a player Sabonis is, but how great of a person and teammate he is too. I'll be honest with you, sometimes these podcasts are therapeutic for me to get some of that stuff off of my chest. Now that I'm done yelling at you and getting that off my chest, now's a great time to tell you about another route that you have to take care of yourself mentally. Maybe it's not always the best idea to just yell at a camera or yell into a microphone, but you're more than willing to do that. But I highly recommend BetterHelp if you're considering therapy or considering finding somebody to talk to get some things off your chest. We all carry around heavy weight in life, right? And it can be in so many different forms. That's why I tell everybody when they ask me about therapy or when I have the opportunity to talk about BetterHelp, I tell them therapy is for everyone. You do not have to have some significant trauma or something really, really bad going on in your life to make you qualify for therapy. Now, if you do have anything like that going on in your life, I highly encourage you to seek someone and talk to someone and do not carry that burden alone. But we all carry burdens, no matter what it is. And we all need to take care of ourselves mentally, just like we take care of ourselves physically. You go to the dentist to work on your teeth and take care of your smile. You go to the doctor to take care of your general health. You go to the gym to get yourself in shape. You go to BetterHelp to take care of yourself mentally. And mental health might be the most important out of all of those. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. You'll get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can change therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity and take care of yourself mentally with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Some other recent news in Kingsland. Fox 40's Sean Cunningham reported that the Sacramento Kings were having Jay Crowder, NBA veteran and wing Jay Crowder, in for a workout. Now, if this were 5 years ago, I'd have been thrilled. I loved Jay Crowder a handful of years ago, and Jay Crowder was in many ways exactly what the Kings needed. And in some ways, what he used to be is exactly what the Kings still need now, right? But I emphasize what he used to be. And I don't mean to say that in any kind of disrespectful way towards Jay Crowder, but at this point in his career, he's a journeyman that bounces from team to team. I would look at the Kings adding Jay Crowder to this roster the same way I looked at Matthew Dellavedova and JaVale McGee. A guy that's going to be a good locker room leader, hopefully a good extension of Mike Brown. It would make perfect sense why Jay Crowder would be the type of player that Mike would like to have helping this young group. I think Jay Crowder would be good in practice to help this team stay focused and work hard, and could help guys like Keegan Murray and everybody on the team. But do I expect anything out of Jay Crowder on the basketball floor? Not really. He gives you a body at the wing that you need. But I mean, I don't, if Jay Crowder is a Sacramento King, I'm like, okay, cool. If Mike Brown thinks he's good enough to play a role here in Sacramento, then who am I to say otherwise? So invite him to camp. Give him a non-guaranteed camp deal. See what happens. Same way you did Nerlens Noel, or you're supposed to do Nerlens Noel last year until JaVale McGee became available, and then you let him and Neemias Queta go. Like, invite him. Have him work with the team. Give it a shot. And if he's good enough, give him a roster spot. The Kings can find a way at the very end of their roster to find a spot for him if they really want to. But do I think Jay Crowder moves the needle in any kind of way for the Sacramento Kings? Not really. I honestly look at him as like his on-court impact that I look at is spot minutes, maybe kind of the end of the bench guy. Or I was talking with D'Lo and KC yesterday on ESPN 1320 radio, and we were talking about the possibility of Trey Lyles playing the 5. And one of the things that came up when I was talking about that was like my belief that if Trey Lyles is going to play the 5, that means the Kings are going small. Keegan Murray is you have to have Keegan Murray on the floor in that scenario. There's no scenario where Trey Lyles plays the 5 and Keegan's not on the floor, because you don't have any other bodies that can play that 4 spot. You don't want Kevin Huerter in that spot, I don't think. You don't want DeMar DeRozan in that spot. So Jay Crowder could be a guy that you could put in that spot for 5 minutes while you're trying Trey Lyles a little bit as a stretch 5. So maybe that's a potential opportunity or potential move the Kings could make. But again, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. If you're excited about Jay Crowder coming to Sacramento, again, 5 years ago, I'd have been thrilled by it. And I do think Jay Crowder could help this team in some way. But is it the difference between, oh, now the Kings are winning a playoff series? No. No, it's not. Although Jay Crowder has been on a lot of really, really good teams and deep playoff runs. So he's definitely got some experience that he could share for the Sacramento Kings in that sense. All right, I want to hear your thoughts. Your thoughts on Jay Crowder. Your thoughts on where Domantas Sabonis was ranked out of NBA centers. Your thoughts on my rant and screaming about the Domantas Sabonis hate. Look, if you have doubt about Domantas Sabonis, I have no problem talking about it. I said some strong things about if you think Domantas Sabonis is a dirty basketball player and stuff like that. I can't help you. Like, if you feel that way, like, be my guest to feel that way. I stand by what I said. I think you're dumb and soft. But if you disagree with certain things that I said, you don't like Domantas Sabonis in this way, you have concerns about Domantas Sabonis, you could be 100% right. 100% right. Like, if you don't think the Kings can win a championship with Sabonis, you could be 100% right. I disagree with you, but let's have a conversation about it. Hit me up on Twitter at MattGeorgeSack. Email me, mattgeorgesports@gmail.com, and leave your thoughts in the YouTube comment section down below. If you could do me a favor as well, if you could leave a review for this podcast, that would help tremendously. Go and check out Locked On Kings on Apple Podcasts. It's the best place to go. Hit 5 stars over there. And if you could leave like a custom review of why you like to listen to the podcast, why you would encourage others to listen to the podcast, that would be fantastic. My Spotify listeners, there's no custom review area, but you could still hit 5 stars. We have a 4.9 rating on Spotify, which is phenomenal. So thank you so much to all my Spotify listeners out there. And then, of course, you YouTube viewers, just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bells on. Get active in the comment section in the community as well. I'm excited as we ramp up towards basketball season. Training camp is going to be here soon. We have Media Day coming in a handful of weeks. So we're getting there. We're getting there together. Appreciate your support as always. Can't wait to have you join me on the next episode of Locked On Kings. Until then, my name is Matt George. You've been listening to the Locked On Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.